it looks like no part of your body. It's aware of what what it is expected to do next.
Yeah, and I know some people that dance the same way.
Yeah, like Elaine on Seinfeld.
We're still talking about the
Yoinky Splinkies? Yeah.
Yeah, on Instagram, yeah. No, I was thinking, remember I was saying last time about my roommate who had the seizures at the traffic light just to freak people out?
Yeah.
Well, my other roommate, they both of those guys went out and bought, this is back before Facebook Marketplace, but went to Auto Trader and bought two of the cheapest cars they could find and then drove them around town like Captain America turned it into I think I would be.
Or they're just driving around bumping into each other and stuff?
Yeah, so they would talk about road theater.
They're just out there causing fender benders with themselves, and then one would drive away, the other would chase them.
Like the one guy would be sitting at a stoplight.
People are watching it. Like I think that's a road rage incident happening. Is they're just away? You
couldn't see it. You couldn't do it today. You really shouldn't have done it back then. But
it says you.
It was completely at random. So it's not like they would drive around together all the time doing that. Like one of them would be out like going grocery shopping, and the other one would just happen to see him. So you just go full bore for him and smash into him at the intersection.
That's what I'm saying. Just like full bore right into the intersection.
You just go screeching at tires and boom, and then they both get out and get into a fist fight, and the light turns green. They jump back on their cars and drive off.
Now, what would have been funnier is if they jump in each other's cars.
They've done that. Yeah, they would do that.
Yeah. You ram it. One of them rams in. You couldn't do it now because the cars are so fragile. Like they'll just shut themselves off. But one guy rams into the other one. You get into a mild fist fight, and then you switch cars and then drive off in opposite directions.
Right. Now we're not giving anybody any ideas.
No, I am. I'm telling you, live your life. do what you want.
All right, let's kick this thing off.
Yeah, you do that.
Welcome again to another episode of Drake and the Maestro, almost relevant and almost safe in traffic.
Never safe in traffic.
Don't drive angry. Don't drive angry.
Almost, I said. I said almost.
Never.
And speaking of traffic, do you want to tell us about your outlaw trucker adventure?
What was my outlaw trucker adventure?
Oh, no, you forgot your outlaw trucker adventure.
I did.
Oh,
that's when I drove.
Noon on the 7th of June when they highballed over the pass. Bulldog Mac with a can on back and a Jaguar hauling ass. He's 10 on the floor, stroking bores, seat cover starting to gain. Now Beaver, you were trucking with a rubber duck, and I'm about to pull a plug on your drain.
I know what it was. I remember now. That takes me back.
That's your heart, sir. It's beating again.
Yes, that takes me back. No, I wake up in the morning.
So you gonna tell us about it, or you just gonna sit there and revel in silence?
I can do both.
Really?
It's what the audience has come to expect from me, really. I wake up in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I scream at the top of my lungs. Ah! Anyway, I'm at a Quick Trip in Wisconsin, just south of Black River Falls, when that big snowstorm a few weeks back comes through. And I noticed that I'm looking at the cameras and the highway's covered with snow. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's the Midwest. I've driven in worse. And I've got a lot of weight on. Both me and the truck have a lot of weight on. So we're good.
You've been to the buffet?
Yeah,
we covered that last week.
Recently. Mm-hmm. And so I debate about it. And I'm just like, screw it. I'm leaving. Right. And I look at the roads. Just one last time I look at the cameras, look at the roads. And I realize that I-94 there is closed, technically, right? Now, Wisconsin doesn't have the gates that they can put down
not like
everywhere.
Texas has the gates, yeah.
Texas has them, Wyoming has them, certain other states have, Nebraska has them, Kansas has them, in certain spots where they can close the interstate due to weather, right? Wind, whatever, snow, tornadoes, migrant season, whatever.
Yeah.
And
riot season,
Right, exactly. Construction season. Now, Wisconsin has the gates, but it's only in certain spots, right? And they're not down. As far as I can tell, I'm looking through the cameras. I don't see any of the gates down. There's nothing saying officially that it's closed other than
one Google. Critical flaw. They can get frozen in the upright position.
Yeah. No. Other than Google and WDOT, Wisconsin DOT. Both say the highway is closed, and I'm like, that sign doesn't affect me. I can't read, so I leave anyway. And I'm not going fast, but I'm not going slow, and I'm just cruising along. And I took a picture. I'll send to the Drake here so he can put it in the episode here while we're talking about it. I just gotta go find it first. I'm unprepared, audience. I'm sorry.
Well, that's situation normal.
Yeah, situation normal.
And it makes it more spontaneous and entertaining.
Yeah, I'm just going along, and it's dark. Here it is. And the road is just, it's whose lane is it anyway? You know, the lines are made up, the lanes don't matter. And just going along, and no other cars are on the road. It was actually really nice and peaceful. It's doing about 40 miles an hour, not super fast, not super slow. But technically, I shouldn't have been on the highway at all. So for about 2.5 hours, I was an outlaw trucker.
Neat.
It goes right along with Schrodinger's logbook that we talked about last week.
It's Schrodinger's highway. It's there and there, not there.
It's both there and not there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I had plenty of, I had like 40-something thousand pounds of crown molding in the trailer. So I was like,
It's fine.
Yeah. I'm not going to go fast enough to do anything stupid. I know the road's crappy, right? I'm not going to be like the guy that crashed like right behind the Quick Trip on the freeway.
Right.
Because he probably overestimated how fast he was going and then just into the ditch. But I came back later that day. Like, I left in the morning, right? Went and got loaded somewhere else in Minnesota and then stopped in Menominee. And the next morning I went through there. It was all cleared up. Menominee. Went back through that area. It was all plowed up. The wrecks were still in the ditch.
Yeah, well, if the trucks are plowed, if the road is plowed, then maybe you should get plowed. No, that doesn't work. No. I'm sorry.
Buy yourself a beer.
That's right.
Or 2 or 6.
If the road's plowed, why shouldn't you? No, it doesn't work.
If the plane is smoking, why shouldn't you?
Yeah, that's just JetBlue. Come on, I mean that's fine.
Yeah. Or if you're on a Boeing plane.
All right, so the burning question of the week that I have for you.
Burning question of the week.
It might be. I don't know. It is for you and for the listeners. Anybody in the audience that wants to chime in. Do you continue to trust your electrical contractor after he suffered a concussion in a vehicle collision on the way to the job? That'd be me on the way to the job, and has been off work and his home office doesn't feel confident in sending him out on work right now. So for the last couple of weeks, my project's been abandoned. At what point do you think it's okay to trust them to come back and finish?
When the doctor says it is.
Now, mind you, this is the guy that already thought it was okay to tie a neutral and a ground together at the load. So,
is that before or after the concussion? It
was before.
Well, maybe the concussion knocked some sense into him.
Okay, all right. So, I did talk to the owner about the ground thing, and I realized that coming at them directly as the customer is going to be a problem. Now, the owner is really nice. I mean, he's really trying to do it right, trying to make sure he's on top of his people. I know what kind of a struggle that is being, at some point having employees and send them on jobs. I get it, which makes me kind of a pushover, I think, sometimes.
Like
they say, salesmen are the easiest people to sell to.
I don't think that container that just went by me has any securement on it.
It's fine.
He might have the built-in container locks in his trailer, but it didn't look like it. It looks like it's just sitting there.
It's fine. It won't go nowhere.
It's heavy enough, right?
Yeah, it's heavy enough. Yeah, it's fine.
Anyway, so you're not going to come at him straight. You're going to come at him a little bit obliquely, right?
Because okay. So what I did was it was kind of an interesting exercise. I went and went through the NEC course for I forget what it was called. But it was basically basic electrician wiring and then for introductory to more of industrial wiring and stuff. And I went through it, class by class by class by class by class, learning the whole code. And kudos to the internet instructor that was conducting the classes, because it wasn't. I checked a couple of different ones, and one guy was like, it was like an insurance seminar. Oh my gosh!
And bear in mind that the next 100 pages can get a little bit dry.
It's Ben Stein from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Though that would have been better. This guy just droned on. His introduction was like 5 minutes.
Bueller.
Okay, yeah. If I gotta listen to this for hours just to try to learn something, I better lock up all the guns, because oh boy,
be doing a taste test real quick.
Exactly. And the other guy I found, and I can't remember his name. He had practical demonstrations. It was very engaging and interesting, and
every now and again he grabbed a live wire.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Time to get this class started. Okay. Anyway.
And I learned really quickly all the appropriate codes that I needed to learn that applied to not only what I'm doing here, but the HVAC stuff and basically how single phase and multi-phase 240, 480, and 110 work, and all the codes and all that go with it. And so I'm considering taking my certification just for giggles. But I didn't want to come at him like that. You know what it says in the code book. Because, you know what, you're going to get immediate push, right?
That's not the only thing I'm considering taking.
So I went to Plan B and played the customer stuck between.
I think you got to have a license to buy that now.
To buy what?
Plan B. Move on.
Oh, wow. That just. Yeah, so
there was an audible sound of a B-29 flying over your head when I made that joke.
Yeah, I heard the echo.
Yeah.
So I decided to take the tack of customer trapped in between two contractors because that's what I am, right? So then I went and I called
the software guy says it's a hardware problem. The hardware guy says it's a software problem.
Exactly. And instead of being the guy that solves that, even though I solved the problem here, I'm not going to come out overtly with the electric company, with the owner, and do it that way. I'm going to be a little more obtuse. And so I had also called and talked to.
I ate enough already today. Obtuse, not obese. Sorry.
Right. Talked to the HVAC contractor, industrial company that I had worked for almost 30 years, and talked to them and like, no, you're. Tying the ground together, no. And the machine doesn't even need the neutral, which is what I found out. It doesn't need neutral. It just uses lug 1, lug 2, and an earth ground. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all it needs.
I mean, reverse and drive is all you really need. You don't need neutral.
Well, right. That's right. Not for that machine. So I just went to him and I said, well, listen, here's what the HVAC people are telling me. They're telling me that the machine only needs lugs 1, lugs 2 from the sub panel that you put in. But I need a discrete earth ground. So if we can just, if you guys want to pound in I knew they'd already run. That's the other thing that bothers me about this contractor with the head wound. They ran 4 wires from the main panel to feed the sub panel, right? Lug 1, lug 2, neutral, and ground. 4 wires. But they didn't hook up ground. Ground's just sitting there in the box, clipped off, doing nothing. And they just bonded neutral and ground together. And when I confronted head wound contractor, I said, can't you give me a discrete ground? He's like, well, we only pulled 3 wires. And then I'm looking at the box going, no, there's 4 wires in there. And I'm talking to the owner, and the owner's like, yeah, I got pictures. He sent me pictures. There's 4 wires in the box. I say, okay, then why is the ground wire not hooked up?
Can I get a different guy? Can I get a guy that doesn't have a concussion working on my stuff?
Right. Which is where I'm going. I'm like, okay, do I trust this guy with the head wound? I don't know.
It sounds like it knocked some stuff loose, and none of it was, and all of it was important, and it's currently laying on the living room floor that is his brain, and he's still trying to pick it all back up again.
Was kind of an older guy, and they used to, way back in the day, like in the 50s, they used to tie neutral ground together, but
he just reverted back to factory settings, is what you're telling me.
Well, this is before the head wound. This is what I'm saying. He's been operating on 1953 factory defaults ever since. So the owner of the electric company, he comes at me and he's like, well, I said, if you would just want to put a ground stake in and then give me a ground bus in the box, great. He's like, well, I saw the pictures of the box, and we've got a ground wire right there that'll tie back to the main panel, and then it'll get grounded that way. Which is what I wanted, right? And so then we'll just put a bus. We'll just put a lug in there, a bus in there for ground, separated from the neutral. I'm like, oh, you could do that? Oh, you would. Oh, yeah, cool.
You're asking for more than is necessary to get what you want.
Yeah,
thanks, Darth Vader. I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it further.
Well, it's not quite that way. I was just kind of.
My voice isn't deep enough to do a good James Earl Jones.
Instead of being ultra nerd project manager, systems analyst, I put on just bamboozle homeowner and blamed it all on the HVAC contractors because they deserve it too.
Oh yeah, they definitely deserve it for sure.
Yeah, because remember we were talking about the overvoltage situation in there in the Hillbilly Heat Pump Heroes episode. Well, turns out my HVAC guy in Chicago is like, well, he's like, your guy was measuring at the starting capacitor. You never do that. You'll read all kinds of crazy voltage. Like, cool. Oh, there we go. So we got So here's what I think happened. I put it all together, right? I was watching
Please
because
tell
I
us.
always keep it on.
With your electric conversation.
It's electrifying. And so was the chassis of the heat pump when the electricians first put it in, because all the feeds from the main panel are black wires, right? Who does that?
I love when they do that. My truck's wiring harness is like that. It's all black wires. And to tangent off of that real quick, to tell my own little electric story here in the middle of your electric story, because I can do that. I had a marker light go. I had a marker light go out, and I get to a TA because the Loves won't touch it for what. Because we only do lube at this particular speed code. I was like, oh, you bastards. Okay, fine.
Yes, so we'll lube you good.
I'm going to lube something, and I'm going to stick it somewhere, but that's not the point right now.
But that's not important right now.
That's right. So I go down to a TA, and he looks at it, and he goes, hey, man, I don't know how to tell you this, but you got 8 butt connectors in a line, one right after the other for the same wire. And that's why your marker light went out, because one of these is bad. I was like, what do you mean I got 8 butt? He cut it out and brought it to me. And I'm like, what does this solve? Who did this? And why?
And where can I find him?
Right, which mechanic was drunk when he did this? Because that's the only way this makes sense.
I know how it makes sense. It was after hours. They needed the connector, but that one was the only one they had, and they made it work.
No, it's not. It's not. It's those crimp connectors, right? Where you stick the wire in both ends and then squish them.
Yeah, Scotch lock.
Yeah, it was 8 of those in a line. It was like. There was the wire that comes off.
In lieu of a proper distribution block.
No, in lieu of the wire. That was the wire that came off the main harness running through the trailer.
Oh, I see. So they just kept splicing another piece of wire on, then another piece of wire?
Right. So they would just cut. They would just cut in front of the one butt connector, put another butt connector, and then when that one went bad, they just cut in front of that one, put another butt cut.
Yeah.
Okay, you ended up with 8 of them in a daisy chain. And the guy's like, I don't know what this was trying to solve, but I cut it out, and I put one down at the harness end, and then I put one over here at the light end, and your light lit back up. I'm like, cool, thanks. So then
no.
Not 2 weeks later, the other one goes out. It's same thing. It's the same, just a whole line of butt connectors all in a row. And I'm like, stop it. Someone needs to go to my shop and slap the electrician's tools out of the mechanic's hand. It goes, no, bad.
Oh my. So what happened was when they wired the sub panel with all black wires, they thought they had each end labeled, right? But they were one
wrong.
End got mislabeled. So one of the neutral wire that they thought was neutral was actually one of the lugs.
Ooh, one of the hot wires.
Yeah. And when they tied it with the ground, it electrified the chassis of the HVAC of the heat pump.
Yep.
Okay. Going to get another phone call. Because when they were and then they got it all electrified, and then they touched one guy touched the chassis, the air conditioner is like, oh, and then he calls the other guys over and he's like, I didn't hear the conversation. I was too far away. And then he points the thing and then the other guy touches it. He's like, oh, and then they call another guy over and he touches it. And they're like, oh,
that's exactly what I was hoping would happen. Hey, Johnny, come over here and check this out. Oh, hey, Steve-O, come over here and check this out. Oh,
and, hey, he's the new guy. Here, lick this. What?
Yeah, sorry. It's the only way you can test it. You have to lick the chassis.
That's right. So that's what I think started the downward spiral of the unit.
Yeah.
Which never would have happened if they didn't have the ground and the neutral tied together at the unit. No. That voltage would never have gotten to the chassis. So what they were doing was running that unit at half power.
But having the chassis slightly electrified for your pleasure.
Right. So the total potential was 240 volts, but all the pumps and fans and all that, all the motors were seeing 120.
Cool.
And that means that they're going to draw double the amps, and that means things burn up. So it was just a matter of time till all the motors started burning up. And there you are. Mystery solved.
Yay!
So The HVAC people had me on intergalactic hold while we're waiting for basically all the parts to rebuild the entire unit. And the electrician's got a head wound, and so I haven't seen them either. Meanwhile, I got no air conditioning, and it's been like 80 degrees. So
Woohoo!
So there we are.
That Jewish workout.
Yes. No need to buy a sauna.
No
it's
need
really
for
not
sauna
that
when
bad.
your whole house is a sauna.
I almost put my portable air conditioner up for on Marketplace.
See, that'll learn you, won't it?
That's right. Because I was thinking, I'm not going to have an incident. I got a new thing, and we got this. So I was like, you know what?
That'll learn you.
Yeah,
that'll learn you.
I think I'll just keep this in storage and pull it out as I need it. So there we are. So we still haven't answered the burning question: is do I trust contractor head wound?
I think you need to get contractor head wound's boss out there to fix it.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that too.
I mean, listen, man, your man on the totem pole here is not proven himself to be all that great. You need to come fix this.
Yes. Meanwhile, I got cables and an open trench and all conduits and all that laying.
I hate when I have an open trench.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
So, yeah. Well, we'll let I'll probably get a hold of them beginning of the next week there and start shaking a tree because it's kind of a delicate operation. I need to get the job finished. I need to get it finished right. It's not as important in a timely manner, but I don't want to be like forgotten about either. So
forget about it.
Kind of a delicate dance until it's all done, and then my Google review can go up.
Yeah, there you go. Get him with the Google review. Get him.
That's it.
Teach him a lesson.
Yeah. Oh, I just wish the contracting community would just police itself up and do stuff right.
And for the amount of contractors I see going down, I'm getting let's be revving up. The amount of contractors I see driving down the road that are total yoinks, just worthless piles. They're driving down the road with their Chevy Savannah van, right? With the sealed beam, high LED high beams, the square ones. That's another bone I gotta pick. Those things have arrows on them, you morons. You're putting them in upside down.
How can they? Okay, that means that they have to ignore the little divot in the back of the reflector that
There's
goes
also
into
a
the
giant
bucket.
arrow on the back of the reflector that says up.
There is. Yeah,
because I had a buddy, we were talking about that, and he was like, oh, yeah, I said it to an owner-operator guy once at a W9 that had those in there, and he's like, I keep getting flashed, like people's high beams, and I can't figure out why. And my buddy was like, did you put them in upside down? He's like, there's a right way to put those in, and so they went over to his truck and pulled the bezel off that holds the bulb in place, and he pulls the bulb out. He's like, oh yeah, there's an arrow on there, and flipped it over.
Oi.
It's like, come on, man.
Do better.
It's either those headlights or it's the square panel of LEDs that are made to be off-road lights that they've just put in for their headlights because they were like $20 on Amazon.
Yeah, the light bar thing. Yeah,
right. It's like that doesn't replace your headlights, you morons.
That's why it is nice to have the sun on my front push bar.
I need to have it on the back of my trailer is what I need.
Yes, you do. I quickly got to that realization that my truck needed dock lights ASAP because,
the amount of morons driving down the road with their LED headlights and their high beams on needs to be compensated for.
Right, that's right. So next time you're visiting the compound, we'll go through the Baja Designs catalog and you can choose your squadron series.
Yeah, and then I can tie them into you can come with me and we can tie them into my marker lights so they get power.
Well, you don't want them on. You don't want them on all the time.
No, so they get power, and then I can use the Bluetooth controller to turn them on and off.
Yep. We could do that.
But anyway, so that wasn't even the thing. That wasn't even the thing I wanted to talk about. No, I don't remember the thing I wanted to talk about, though.
Oh, no, you got to do it.
I worked myself into a tangent in a different direction.
Well, you got to do it.
No, I don't remember.
Don't leave the listeners hanging.
I just there's too much collective stupid going down the road today. We just kept stopping for no reason. We're just going down I-95, and all of a sudden, all of the traffic comes to a complete stop, and then we just start going again.
Somebody saw a squirrel. Or an ice agent. Yeah, either way.
Something.
Yeah. Well, your state is now talking about putting in the speed limiting devices on cars.
Good luck.
Yeah.
They tried that a few years ago, and it got slapped down so hard that they're still feeling it.
Mm-hmm. It's just proof that they want. I don't know what they're up to over there. I'm glad I left. They're just trying any which way that they can to put the boot of whatever on the neck of whoever.
Yeah, they're trying real hard.
That's not important
they're trying real
right
hard
now.
to make sure they don't have a population anymore.
Well, okay. This is the political part of the relevancy. I think they want to make sure that they only have willing subjects to rule over. I think that's the idea.
Is that
so
it? Willing subjects?
Willing subjects. So because they figure there's a never-ending trough of money that they'll have themselves, that'll be, local, state, and government funds that they'll be able to have fun with. And as long as there's a population, they're just perpetually keep them in power. They're happy with it. They don't care what the state of the state is. As someone once said, a socialist communist, you insert your adjective, will burn down the country just to rule in the ashes. So there you go. All right.
It's not wrong.
End political section, part of this section. If you need to reach us, and on that disappointment, it's time to go for today.
What was that? That was your life, mate. Oh, that was quick. Do I get another? Sorry, mate. That's good.
No, that was
if
quick.
you need to reach us, problems, arguments, whatever. Solutions. Difference of opinion. You can reach us at DrakeAndMaestro at Outlook.com. That's Drake and on the Outlooks, along with the Facebooks and the YouTubes. That's to tell you how old I am.
The Facebooks, the Facebooks.
Drake and Maestro. Drake and Maestro at Outlook.com. That's Drake and Maestro at Outlook.com. Or on X at Drake and Maestro. Tune in next time when the Maestro says,
"Oh, you gonna shiv me with that shank?
Gonna shank me with the shiv."
I can't go back there, man. Not after what they did to Johnny. Oh, Johnny, he was the best. I wish you'd known him. Those guys worked him over good. They shanked him with a shiv, and they shivved him with a shank. Oh, for a pack of smokes. Johnny, you were too beautiful for this world, man. I'll be king of the next. Johnny!
That's still my favorite news chyron, clipping, is the quote from Man Who Was Stabbed. What are you going to do? Stab me?
Thanks for listening, and adios.
Adios.
Adios, muchachos, caballeros, and you get out of here.
I was thinking of the Scrubs when it's the janitor and they're letting Neil Flynn just free riff. Just how about his made up prison days?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Shanked him with the shiv, and then he shivs him with the shank. Yes, Mrs. Drake rolling her eyes at me.
As she should.
Right, because I get it. I get amused by these things way too much. It's like shiny object or squirrel. It's just hey. Ooh, yeah. I like that in the script where it's just, and whatever Neil says.
And whatever Neil says, yeah. Dr. Cox has a line, JD has a line, and whatever Neil says.
And then everybody has to react to it,
Yeah. Have you seen the outtakes from Young Frankenstein?
No. I think I'll have to go look that up.
How did they even make this movie?
What was the movie where the one actor was so ridiculous and over the top doing his part? The rest of the crew had to be minimal because
there was Miracle Max in Princess Bride.
That was it, yeah, because Billy Crystal.
Yeah, Billy Crystal, and I forgot the lady's name, but it was
Carol
Crystal
Kane.
and her.
Carol
Yeah,
Kane.
when they were just that whole scene is them just free riffing off of each other. It's Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal just ad-libbed that entire scene himself. The whole thing.
Billy Crystal as Billy Crystal.
Right, as Miracle Max.
You notice that towards as his career was winding down, I mean, he just started doing old men. It was like
Billy Crystal?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? He was an old man. Just do old men.
Yeah.
Don't do the what's his name? De-age yourself to try to play young men. Just play old men and be an old man.
Yeah, embrace it. Don't Seagal it.
Action.
Oh, man, those guys, the screws, they worked him over good. They shivved him with a shank in the yard of the big house. And they shanked him with a shiv just because he was up the river. Say, boy! The big J! Johnny! I thought I saw him, man. He's always in here. Johnny. Oh, Johnny.